The member for Gippsland.
Thank you, Speaker. And my question is to the Minister for Education. I refer the Minister to her failure to answer the member for Sturt's question. Will the Minister guarantee—
Order. The member for Gippsland has the call. Order. The Minister for Trade. The member for Gippsland has the call.
Will the Minister guarantee that students currently in their gap year will not be financially penalised under the government's changes to eligibility criteria for the independent youth allowance? Or will the Minister make regional students pay the price for the government's reckless spending?
The Deputy Prime Minister.
Thank you very much, and with the greatest respect to the member, what a very silly question produced by the member for Sturt. What a very silly question. The answer to the member's question is clear. Yes, the government is changing the system. Why is the government changing the system? Because we are a responsible government that believes that every dollar of student support, indeed every dollar of government expenditure, should go to the place it's going to do the most good. And when we see a financing system with benefits going to the upper end, we ask ourselves the question, can we do better to target people in need? And the member might be interested to know, and he wouldn't have heard this from the member for Sturt, that the Bradley review, for instance, found that 36% of students who are living at home and were receiving youth allowance through having been considered independent were from families with incomes over $100,000 and 10% were with families with incomes over $200,000. Well, when you see a result like that, you should ask yourself the question, can we do better? And what we have done that will be better for students generally is we have reorientated this system so that rather than being pitched in that way, it will support families in ordinary income ranges. And as the member would know, incomes in regional Australia tend to be less than incomes in metropolitan Australia. So any re-gearing of the system that puts money—
The Deputy Prime Minister will resume her seat. The Deputy Prime Minister, the Leader of the Opposition, has the call. On a point of order.
Mr Speaker, the question was specifically about students in their gap year this year who have taken a gap year.
The Deputy Leader of the Opposition will resume.
Because of
the Deputy
rules
Leader of the
as
Opposition will resume her seat.
The
Deputy Leader of the Opposition will resume her seat. That is the only point of order. You've raised the point of order of relevance. There is no requirement for me to invite you to debate the point of order unless I require it. On the matter of relevance, the Deputy Prime Minister is responding to the question.
Mr Speaker, and on the member's question where he asked me about the impact on regional students, I am explaining that because regional Australia tends to have lesser incomes than Australia generally, any system that reorients towards people in ordinary income ranges is better for regional Australia. And let me give the member just one example.
Member for Cowper will resume his seat. Member for Cowper will resume his seat. The Deputy Prime Minister has the call. I've indicated that the Deputy Prime Minister is responding to the question. The Deputy Prime Minister is responding to the question. The member for Cowper will resume his seat. The Deputy Prime Minister.
Thank you very much. So to take an example which I think would have meaning for the member given his electorate, under the new system that we are proposing, a family from the bush with 2 kids at university age who have to move to study will now be able to automatically receive some support with a family income of up to $139,388, and that figure has been increased from the Liberal figure of $75,000 in family income. So I think you can see from those 2 figures the huge expansion in family income thresholds that will make a difference to people in his electorate. And then, of course, there's our student start-up scholarships of $2,254 per year, where we are estimating 146,000 students will be eligible for them next year. That's 133,700 more than currently. 133,700 more than currently. And then, of course, on top of that, there are our relocation scholarships to benefit the kind of kids in the member's electorate who need to move to study. This is a system that overall will give extra student support. That is 38,000 additional students will be on income support and 36,000 more will receive higher payments. Now, I understand from the catcalling that the position of the Liberal Party must be that they would prefer to give money to people earning over $200,000 and $300,000 a year, families with income over $200,000 and $300,000 a year. They would prefer to do that than to see an extra 36,000 students get income support. They would prefer to do that than to see more students get more money. Well, if that's the contemporary position of the Liberal Party, that says everything any Australian needs to know about their value system, and it's not very pretty indeed, Mr Speaker.